Good morning, my friends. I arrived here last night from Tbilisi with plans to visit a nature park, drink mineral water, and swim in the healing sulfur baths. However, the weather insidiously interfered with my plans and my bathing had to be postponed as it was pouring rain all evening, but I still managed to take pictures of the nature park. Now I will go on a tour with a local guide to the amazing places in this region of Georgia. We will drive through beautiful mountain gorges, see ancient monasteries lost in the mountains, visit majestic medieval fortresses, and explore an ancient cave city carved into the rocks. Borjomi is a famous resort city located in southwestern Georgia, in the gorge of the same name between the Vakan and Trialeti mountain ranges in the Samtskhe-Javakheti region. The name Borjomi means fortress or wall in Georgian. The city stretches on both sides of the river Kura and stretches along the coast for about 5 kilometers. Due to the fact that the area is surrounded by mountain ranges and forests, the resort has a moderate, comfortable climate and very little precipitation throughout the year, but it rained heavily on my visit. Borjomi sightseeing map includes almost 200 cultural heritage sites. The most famous among them are the Gogia Fortress, the Romanov family residence, Likhani Village, the city park, the local history museum, and Yivari Church. The resort Borjomi owes its development to the royal Romanov family, which in the 19th century arranged here the Caucasian residence. It was under the Tsar that the very spring with the label of the mineral water, Borjomi, was discovered. The park stretches along the river and has only one main avenue with a pavilion. It is this place on the map designated as Source, although there are about 20 wells in the national park. In the depths of the park is a popular tourist method, sulfur baths. The road to them goes through the woods along the river along an unpaved road, which turned into a muddy mess in the rain, and I decided not to go there, especially since I had already taken a sulfur bath in Tbilisi. Borjomi is a resort in Kartli, a province in eastern Georgia. The city is famous for its mineral water Borjomi, which occupies the first position in exports in Georgia. Borjomi mineral water is popular in the former Soviet Union. On June 22, 2005, Georgia announced Borjomi and Bakuriani as contenders to host the 2014 Winter Olympics, but the bid to host the Games was not approved. The history of the Borjomi Gorge is directly related to the mineral waters. Probably, even without the mineral springs, Borjomi would be an excellent resort place, due to its wonderful nature and unique healing climate. But it is thanks to the mineral water of Borjomi that it became world famous. Archaeologists believe that the springs were known even in ancient times. This is evidenced by the 7 stone baths found at the beginning of XX century, dating back to the beginning of the first millennium AD. Apparently, at that time, the water was used for bathing and not for drinking. Then, the springs have been forgotten for a long time again, and the place where they are located, abandoned. The second life to the springs was given by military men. In 1829, Kherson Grenadier Regiment was quartered in Borjomi. Once the soldiers found a spring in the forest on the right bank of the river Borjomi, which looked like a pit, filled with warm water with a pungent smell. The colonel became interested and ordered to clear the spring and bring water in bottles to the regiment. By 1841, the water became so famous that the governor of the Tsar in Caucasus brought his sick daughter to be treated in Borjomi. In 1850, the mineral water park was laid out in Borjomi, and in 1854, the construction of the first bottling plant began. The factory works till the 50s of the XXth century, regularly filling Borjomi, which by that moment is well known through the whole world. Friends, let me remind you that my path now lies from the city of Borjomi to the cave city of Vardzia. However, there are many more interesting places along the way, which are definitely worth a visit. And now I stopped at the Green Monastery. The monastery is also famous for its 7 springs. Believers believe that the holy water flows in them. According to legend, to heal, you need to drink water from all these springs. But not only the water, but also brown stones lying at the bottom of the river cause interest. One of them was fished out of the reservoir and placed in the church for display. It is noteworthy that the stones in the river retain their color regardless of the time of year or water temperature. The monks consider this a miracle, as any paint fades over time under the influence of direct sunlight or the constant flow of water. Local legend attributes this to the fact that the stones have absorbed the blood of martyrs who gave their lives for their faith. When people first heard that these stones were covered in blood, they began to take them home, thinking they brought good luck and grace. The Green Monastery is one of the oldest male monasteries on the territory of Georgia. Today, not all the monastery buildings have survived, but those that have survived to this day are a living testimony to its long history. According to experts and historians, the monastery complex was dedicated to the heavenly patron saint of Georgia, George the Victorious. Today, it is one of the most revered holy places in the whole of Georgia. Pilgrims come here not only from all over the country, but also from other, sometimes very distant lands. We continue our way along the Borjomi Gorge, which is especially popular with tourists. The gorge has a unique natural beauty. Borjomi Canyon stretches along the banks of the Kura River for 60 kilometers, among slopes of Likski, Trialetsky, Adjar Imeretinsky mountain ranges, which relative height reaches 15 kilometers. The gorge near the town of Borjomi has a canyon-like shape and was formed as a result of the wedging of the Bakuriani lava flow. The Borjomi Canyon possesses a unique beauty, which is conditioned by the diversity of its nature. The world-famous Bakuriani ski resort is located in the Borjomi Gorge. On the road from Borjomi to Vardzia, in the town of Akhaltsikhe, is the medieval fortress of Rabat. The fortress is a complex of buildings of the 16th and 18th centuries. The construction of the fortress started at the turn of the 16th and 17th centuries by the Jakhali rulers of Meskheti, who adopted Islam. The city of Akhaltsikhe, Lamnia, was taken by the Ottoman troops in 1578, and half a century later became the center of the Akhaltsikhe Pashalik. During the mentioned war with the Turks in August of 1828, the great battle between the Russian army under the command of General Paskovich, with 9,000 men, and a 30,000 Turkish army under the command of Kios Magomet Pasha took place at the walls of Akhaltsikhe. The Turkish troops were defeated and retreated, after which the fortress was occupied by Russian troops. In February 1829, the Turkish troops tried to take back the fortress. The defense of the fortress of Akhaltsikhe, led by General Muravyov, lasted from February 20th to March 4th, 1829. After repulsing the first attack, the garrison held out for 12 days until the approach of reinforcements, which forced the Turks to retreat. In May 2011 began reconstruction of the fortress Rabat, which was accompanied by the restoration and completion of many buildings, destroyed in times immemorial. The Georgian government allocated 34 million GEL from the state budget for this purpose. Within the project on the territory of the fortress were renovated Ahmediye Mosque, the minaret of the mosque, madrasa, Jakhali Castle, baths, citadel, walls of the fortress, and the Orthodox Church. A tunnel leading to the Potskovi River was also restored. 2 main streets of the fortress were also repaired. The paving was arranged, and the facades and roofs of buildings were restored. Akhaltsikhe Fortress, with an area of 7 hectares, is divided into 2 parts, upper, historical, and lower, modern. In the upper part, there are Historical Museum of Samtskhe Javaketi region, which is located in a family castle, Djakhali, Haji Ahmed Pasha Mosque, Ahmediye, Madrasa, Pasha's burial vault, Orthodox Church of the 9th century, citadel, and amphitheater. In the lower part of the fortress, there are mainly service facilities for tourists, a hotel, restaurant, 2 cafe bars, wine cellar, brand stores, and the House of Marriage. To help tourists, there is an information center where visitors to the fortress are offered brochures and guidebooks in Georgian, English, and Russian. In the end, we can say that the fortress of Rabat in Akhaltsikhe looks grandiose, and it is certainly worth visiting. However, personally, I like the monuments of history and culture which have reached us in their original form, as they feel the spirit of history and its own unique atmosphere, which is lost in those monuments that have been restored or rebuilt and regularly visited by tourists in large numbers. On the road to Vardzia, at the confluence of two rivers, the Paravani and Kura, there is another fortress, Kertvisi. Kertvisi Fortress is one of the oldest and best-preserved fortresses of the Georgian Middle Ages. It is located in the Samtska-Javakheti region in southern Georgia. Chronicler Leonti Maravelli mentions Kertvisi as one of the first cities in Georgia in connection with the campaigns of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC. Kertvisi's development was facilitated by its favorable location on the trade route along the Kura River to the seashore, as well as to the territories of Armenia and Turkey. Rulers had to establish and maintain outposts to ensure their own safety and control over crossroads, and in case of danger to have a reliable place to hide. During the early Middle Ages, the city fell into decline, and only in the 10-11th centuries, a newly rebuilt fortress grew to the size of a city and became the center of the Meskheti region. The multi-tiered fortification ensemble consisted of an upper citadel and a lower citadel adjoining it from the southeast. Kertvisi is an architectural monument of Georgia. Together with the Vardzia Monastery complex, it is a candidate for the UNESCO World Heritage List. After viewing the Kertvisi fortress, we jumped on the bus and drove through the mountain gorge, enjoying the beautiful views out the window towards the main attraction, the Vardzia Cave Complex. Well, my friends, here we have reached the main attraction of the medieval town of Vardzia. Vardzia is a legendary cave city in Javakheti, carved in the depths of a picturesque rock rising above the Kura River. The cave monastery complex of the 20th centuries is considered an outstanding monument of medieval Georgian architecture. Vardzia was created mainly in 1156 to 1205 years during the reign of George III and his daughter, Queen Tamara. Through 900 meters along the left bank of the river in a steep, tough wall of mountain Eresheti, about 600 rooms are cut out. Churches, chapels, cells, storerooms, baths, refectories. The rooms go 50 m deep into the rock and rise to a height of 8 floors. The secret passages connecting premises, the remnants of the water supply and irrigation system were preserved. In the center of Vardzia Monastery is the main temple in honor of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin. On its walls you can see a unique fresco paintings, including images of George III and Tamar. Caves are located in vertical tiers at an altitude of 1,300 m above sea level, and from the observation decks offer beautiful views of the valley of the River Kura and the mountains opposite. Walking around the ancient rock city of Vardzia, you can fantasize about how it would be possible to live in these caves now and try yourself as a resident of one of the city's caves. Let me spend for you a small review of one of the caves of the Stone City. Apparently, the cave is elite because it has 2 floors. On the first floor there is a kitchen combined with a bathroom. On the left side there is a bathtub for washing dishes. On the right side there is a toilet. And behind me there are 2 designer chairs made of stone. And even further, there is a niche for storing kitchen utensils and food. On the second floor of the 2-level apartment, there is a huge living room with high vaulted ceilings and ventilation. In the center of the room is a circle for the fireplace, and to the left are 2 large niches for storing things and clothes. On the balcony with a gorgeous panoramic view is located the second bathroom. Well, my friends, of course, I couldn't show you the whole city because it's huge and it's very tiring to walk up and down on all the floors. However, I tried to show you all the most interesting things, and I think you have already made your impression of this great stone city and monument of medieval Georgian architecture. Well, we say thank you to this place, and let's go on our journey to sunny and hospitable Georgia. Well, while I'm cleaning my new apartment, you can like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you liked this video, you can donate to me to make more movies. All the links are in the description. See you soon in the new video. Bye!